Asperger's syndrome, you'll have to know that there's a spectrum of autistic disorders wherein there are five. First, the classic autistic disorder, the second, or the Kanner syndrome. The second is the Asperger's syndrome. And then we have the disintegrated disorder, which is the Heller's. And then there's the not otherwise specified. So it all would go back to what a classical autistic child would manifest. So classically, an autistic child would have no social interaction. They would have fleeting eye movement. More often than not, they wouldn't even look into your eyes when spoken to. They have no fear of danger. Mannerisms like the hand, they'll go clapping like that, or ringing hand movement. And then they have automatisms, like they always have to have sameness. What differentiates Asperger's syndrome, which is a continuum of the autistic spectrum disorder, is that the language acquisition is normal. Have your expressive and receptive language developing normally. However, they wouldn't put that into use. It's all genetics. So compared to other studies that say that it's the family upbringing, it's how the dynamics would be, studies have shown that it's in the genes. It would depend, because the language and the social interaction would develop in the toddler years or as early as 2 to 3 years old. Not classified as rare because Asperger's syndrome, which is more common in males, and it has been proven with studies, 4 times more common in males. It's 1 in every 400 boys. We encourage the parents not to have this stigma of bringing up an abnormal child, but instead of a special child. It has to begin with them, the acceptance of the diagnosis, because it would require not only emotional, psychological, but physical on their part, as well as, of course, the child, because he wouldn't understand what his disorder is. There is no treatment for Asperger's syndrome. All we can do is to have the child live as a normal life, as any child would enjoy the whatever milestone he has to achieve. And with the multidisciplinary approach, like you have the therapy centers with the occupational therapists, the speech therapists, special schools, and all of those support groups, well, that's all we could offer. An adult Asperger's syndrome would have an almost near normal IQ or intellect, so they can live an independent life. That's one of the goals in therapy and rehab. You're very special, and you just have to cope up with all the other things that any children would have to cope up, and you'll do good.